And we are hot. Back again.
And both of us are in the studio.
In the studio. I plan on having this one out this week. We're going to be 2 days late. So I apologize, everybody. And listen, we're gonna make this one a short one. We're gonna talk a few tips and tricks and things we've seen. Hopefully, help out a young hunter or even older hunters. I'm learning stuff every day. I learned something this past week. So anyway, I'm gonna get this thing produced, and hopefully, I'm gonna put it out the minute I finish editing it. So hopefully this will be tomorrow, whatever tomorrow's date is.
23rd.
The 23rd. I'm hoping to have this out no later than the 24th. It'll be a short one. You guys listen to it. And we plan on having another one out the following Tuesday. Or Monday. Monday's when I always release them.
Yeah.
Monday. So anyway, what I wanted us to talk about real quick is just some insight from me and you on tips and tricks. I'm not going to say tricks. There's no way. I mean, they trick us more than we trick them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could consider calling and decoys a trick. You're tricking them. They think you're a hen and they see a decoy and think it's a real turkey. I'm amazed how dumb they are.
Or if you don't use a decoy, they still see a hen or hear a hen that doesn't come to them when they gobble.
It's really a trick. So, but I'm not going to call it that. I think that takes away from the bird.
They'll Houdini you more than you will.
Oh them. Yeah. So anyway, let's just start out with trying to roost a bird. We ain't had much luck this year, but I have had luck. It's a hit or miss thing in my book.
Yep. Their temperature's got to be right, like everything else. If you're in an area with a lot of turkeys, and you know there's a lot of turkeys, and conditions are right, you can get out there. You can blow a crow call. Mainly an owl call is what I would use at dusky dark. About this time. What time is it right now? We're at 7:23.
So yeah. About this time, once the time changes, and it's changed for us. I mean, the Florida guys hunt during daylight savings time, but we don't anymore here in Alabama. But I like to get out on a ridge, a road, anywhere that drops off into these bottoms. I wouldn't go walking out into the woods to go get on a ridge somewhere because you're liable to bump them out of there. And do a series of hoots. I think it's better. You tell me. I think it's better, especially for me now, having you or somebody with me that can hear. I think, first off, if you're the one hooting, I might can hear that turkey gobble, cutting you off. You don't even know he's gobbling.
I have the disadvantage for sure.
I've heard people, and I agree with this, your first hoot should be short, not a long, drawn out. Just do the, and listen, I do not.
Who cooks for you?
Yeah, I don't voice hoot. I wish I could, but I can't. And I can't even hoot very good with a manufactured owl hooter. But start out short, maybe just a long whoo, and wait. Don't go right into a cadence. Give it a minute. I won't say a minute. Give it a few seconds, 15, 20, 30 seconds, and listen. A lot of times, especially if you're on top of a hill and there's a big hollow, that your voice, it takes time.
It's amazing how far it will echo and carry.
But I mean, you'll do that, and that turkey will gobble, but he may be a half a mile away. Well, it takes a long time for your sound, and whatever it travels, 300 miles an hour. I don't know what.
And his sound's got to come back.
Well, right. So you give them a few seconds and listen. And if you don't hear it, do it again. I would never yelp in the evening time. Never, never, never. First off, I very rarely have ever heard a hen yelping right before dark. I followed some one time, feeding down the road going to roost. And I was not that far away, but they couldn't see me the way it was set up. And you could hear some soft
purrs.
Yeah, little purrs and a little whine here and there. But that was them together.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I would say never yelp or any kind of turkey call. I would, don't even gobble. I mean, I've heard people say, I gobbled it, in the evening. Well, okay. And a turkey may hear that and gobble back. I don't know, but I've never done it. I don't carry a gobble call with me. I've never gobble called the turkey up. I'm not saying you can't do it. But anyway, so in the evening time, get out there, your favorite spot. I wouldn't even say it's 50-50. It may be closer to 70-30, 30% chance one might gobble. Give you a good example. Me and Mark was in Dallas County the week before Easter. We stood on a ridge on top of the hill. We hooted. We hooted so good, a dang owl come up and lit in the tree with us. Nothing. We heard no sound. Next morning, we're standing not quite in the same spot, but right in the same area. Turkey was right across the hill and gobbled. He gobbled. Mm-hmm. He gobbled half a dozen times before he hit the ground. Then he went silent. So anyway, I don't know. What do you got on roosting?
Probably the hardest gobbling we've heard on the roost, that bird in Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, he had no problem, which we were trying to locate him. And I mean, that because we were so far the first time he gobbled, but we did manage to get some binoculars on him. We knew where he was at.
Yeah, we
next
knew
morning,
where he was. There wasn't that many trees either, so it made it a little easier.
No.
And it was early spring. The leaves hadn't really busted out too bad.
I'll probably butcher this, but Mark Perdome.
Yeah.
Okay. I know he's got it kind of a lot. Most people mispronounce, and I don't even know if that's right. But I've listened to some of his stuff, and he says he does just a one note. That way he can
just
listen.
Does a whoo.
Yep, one time and then listens, because he said especially if you're by yourself, just what you were talking about. He said if I go through the whole thing, I'm missing birds gobbling.
And when you hear that, and even in the mornings we'll talk about this too, but I heard another podcast that was talking about even when you're standing there, you may be by yourself. Especially with me, I've got less hearing in one ear than the other. Right. I can miss course where that bird is, and I go, I heard him over here, and you got two good ears. You go, no, he's straight in front of you. We'll do it. We'll try to get him to gobble again, and then he's straight in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where two people come in handy. Especially when you're old and nearly deaf like I am.
Well, that's good too. Like, say for instance, you and I, we sometimes have to leave late of the evening going where we're going, but we might get there just before dark, and we haven't been there all year, so we didn't get time to actually properly scout, but we're close enough to property that we can try to locate one.
And that's where you're driving in or walk, maybe park at a spot and going to walk out a place. Either way. But you can stop, get out. We posted a video of you hooting one evening.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe get one to fire off. At least you'll know he's there. Does that mean you're going to kill him? No. Roosted does not mean roasted.
And he could not be there the next morning. Right, something spooked him or whatever. But you'd have a good idea of what area to maybe start in or be listening right there. Just a way to scout when you didn't have time to scout during the day.
Exactly.
Because you're traveling
and
or whatever.
It's hard if you hunt all day like we do, I'm telling you, by roosting time, I'm ready to leave. I mean, I'm tired. We've either walked miles or we've sat for so long. It's going to be 9 o'clock before you eat. If you have to drive anywhere, if you're staying in camp, you got food, that's one thing. You still got to take a shower. So
call the missus.
Yeah. But if at all possible, get out there. If you're close and you can do it, get out there and hoot and see if you can, get one to shot gobble on the limb. I mean, that'll make, you might not sleep as good that night because you'll be excited, but that, like I said, it does not in any way, shape, or form. And I could probably count on one hand the amount of turkeys I have located at night, roosted them, and actually went in the next morning and killed them. I would say I would really have to think about it, but I'd say it's 5 or less.
Mm-hmm.
And that's I've been turkey hunting a long time, so, but it still gives you hope. At least you kind of know he's over there, and if it's this time of the day, dusky dark, you can kind of, especially if you know the woods, you can go, okay, I'm gonna go right over here. I know where a tree is. I can get close. Or you're standing there and you can look and go, okay, I'm gonna get right on that edge of that field because he's roosted down below it, and maybe he's gonna fly down and walk in here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or if you've never been on that property, you can pull up your onX and kind of see what's around there. See if you can.
And I forget about that because, and you did too, but I come up at a time of no technology. You know, most I had was a compass, and the first GPS that didn't even have maps. So, you know, what good was that? So now with onX and a good phone battery, you should be able to look at everything topo wise, satellite wise.
Well, it's pretty cool how Shane Simpson does that. He'll go to this part and park, and he gets one to hoot, or he hoots and gets one to gobble. He drops a pin where he thinks it's at. Then he drives around and does it again.
Yeah,
and he tries to
triangulate.
Yeah, that's really cool. He's a Jedi master.
We're not sponsored by onX. We both use onX. There's a lot of other hunt apps out there. What is there one? HuntWise or there's several of them out there. I'll say onX kind of in a generic term, just like if I'm drinking a 7-Up, I'll say I'm having a Coke.
Right.
So that's just the redneck Southern way. So anyway, but that's what I use.
And that's what we pay for yearly.
And we pay for it, and there's no excuse not to be able to. You might not know the land, but you should be able to know there's a holler, there's a creek, there's something if you've never been on that property. So I would say we've covered roosting one pretty good.
Yeah.
So let's say next morning, you get up, you need to be out there while it's still dark. Dark to barely breaking light, get to your listening point. You may have to move listening points. I mean, if you don't hear nothing, you've got time. There's nothing says you have to stand right there until 8 o'clock in the morning. Although I've stood right there and it's 7:30, quarter to 8 before one finally gobbles. He's still on the limb.
Right.
So that's going to be a judgment call, and you make it the correct call or you don't, because I've done that. I've stood down at my dad's place, and I swore that turkey was on the other side of the creek. I jump around, it's dark. I have to cross a little trestle to get to the other side of the creek. I'm standing there, and this time he gobbles, and I realize he wasn't on the other side of the creek. He was facing the other side of the creek. He was facing off the hill, so it sounded like he was over there, further away.
Yeah.
And then when I'm over there, he's actually facing me, and he gobbles, and I'm like, oh, my God. And now it's breaking light, and I've got to run this half a mile back across this trestle.
Well, sometimes your ears are tricky like that, too, and maybe he was gobbling towards you, and then the next time he gobbles away, and you're like, he's on the ground.
And
he's going away from me.
Very, very happens all the time. Sometimes you'll even think, was that a second bird further away?
Right.
Or I have. And now it's true early season when they gobble early on the limb at night or in the mornings when there's no leaves, you can hear them a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And as the season progresses and the leaves come out and fill out and the trees are really full of leaves, he can be in that same tree and he'll sound like he's a half a mile away. And you don't know how many I've busted off the roost because I thought they were a lot further away.
Yeah, it makes it harder to judge distance.
So even when you hear one or two and you decide I'm going to make my move, be sure, take your time getting to where you're going. I mean, I would move 50, 60 yards and hope he gobbles again, then make another move. And I don't think, if it's dark, I personally don't think noise bothers them. They hear coyotes and deer and armadillos and all manners of animals, Sasquatch, whatever, walking around in the woods all night. So I don't think rustling the leaves or breaking a limb bothers them. Now, if it's breaking light, if you can see the ground, or you can see, if you look up and you can see the sky, they can look down and see you. Then, then caution. I mean, you agree?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I unless the terrain just allows it, 100 yards, I'd be sitting on my butt until he hit the ground. And who knows? You may go in there, and once you get in there, there may be one or two more finally fire off. They could be closer or further away. And, of course, those demon hens, all of a sudden you start hearing them, it's going to be tough, because he's going to sit on that limb and gobble until they all gather up. And he either knows where they're sitting, where they've gathered, or they come to him, and it's just
he's wanting to pitch right down the middle
thing.
of them.
But the same thing. Hoot. I do it the same way we talked about it. Do that one long whoa, and then maybe do the cadence. I heard a thing. I don't know if it's on Turkey Science, but it was more that ending roll of the call. It's that frequency that sets them off. I say that, but I used that little brown thing. There's no way you could roll a call, and I had hundreds of turkeys gobble over the years at that thing. Now I've lost it. I do have one. I've bought another one. It's not my original.
Not the OG though.
No, it is not. I mean, it is an OG one.
Yeah, but it's not your
the
OG.
one. No, it's still got the writing on it. My other one was wore off.
Yeah.
You could tell I held that thing with my right hand because I think my thumb had wore a groove in it over the years, and it really didn't. But anyway, so that's what I would do early morning. But if you don't hear anything first off, the owl in the dark is fine. I've heard some people talking about they're hearing crows crowing in the dark. I don't hear that a whole lot, but if you do, they haven't responded to an owl, pull out the crow call.
They'll really get going about that time you was talking about where you can look up and kind of start seeing it open and all. I mean, crows, if it's a pretty day, they will start early.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times like that. And then you got the crows and the owls going back and forth, and you can't even hear.
Yeah, you'll be lucky. You'll be lucky to hear a turkey gobble.
Well, and here you get the Canadian geese.
Oh,
God, you try to hunt on the lake or around the lake, it's terrible.
I've never heard one gobble at a goose.
No,
I've never heard it. Now, I hear people up north say they use a goose call and make one gobble, like a shot call, goose call, but I watch them fly over down in Dallas County. If I had turkeys around here, I would. They fly over here all the time. They're out here in the middle of the night honking. I mean,
it's weird down there in Randolph County. There's a guy when you turn off the paved road, and he's got a chicken coop, and sometimes when his roosters go off, the turkeys gobble.
Well, I mean, I think anything. Listen, I got out. I used to get out, and I still do, try to be quiet. But I got out one morning, that old Samurai, and the door just slams. There's no hinges. It's just, I mean, there's hinges, but there's nothing to slow it down.
Right.
And that thing, so bam! Wow! He wasn't. Now, he was pretty close.
Right.
75 yards, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually squatted down behind the truck. I thought he was that close, but it was black dark.
Right.
And I had time. I didn't even move the truck. I eased on off in the woods. I don't continue. If I think I know where they are in the mornings, I don't continue to try to make them call until if I get to the tree I think I'm going to set up on. I may hit the hooter again or hit the crow call. Sometimes I just sit there. A lot of times I haven't done nothing. Just sit there and let them do what they're going to do.
Yeah. This
year has been funky weird to me. The few I've heard is only gobbled on the limb.
Mm-hmm.
And when they hit the ground, it's dead silent. That one in Tennessee, and we'll go over that in another podcast, but he did gobble on the ground a couple times, but he was with the hens. I don't know. I called, and he may have been gobbling like, come on down, join the harem. I got room for one more.
Right. But he still might have been doing
But he only gobbled a couple times.
Right.
So, yeah, he could have still been bringing the other hens together.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, so that's what I would do. And then sit down. If it's still dark, kind of move on a little bit. Say you set up. I don't generally, once I'm set up, I give it a few minutes to quieten down. Because I've always forgot something moving around, trying to get the gun right. Getting my mouth call, which generally I like to have my mouth call in and wet and working. But getting a pot call out, or if you carry a box, which I don't carry a box call a whole lot. But
getting a big sawbriar out of your bag.
Make sure they're not a sweet gum ball under your butt or an acorn. Because let me tell you, about 30 minutes into it, that little red oak acorn will turn into a softball every time.
Mm-hmm.
That sawbriar, I don't know what it is. That thorn will grow.
Yeah.
And it'll just keep working its way. I mean, I feel like I've had it hit me in the butt cheek and run all the way to my spine.
Yeah.
And
I was up against some kind of big old vine thing that was on the tree the other day. And of course, it was too big to cut off. This thing was like an inch and a half. And I moved my back one way, and it was like it followed. I guess I would get uncomfortable and go back to center, and then I'd have to ease back over.
Well, I would sit down and get quiet. If you want to try a little light, soft tree yelp, if he responds to that, you might do it a couple of times, but I wouldn't go crazy with it. And then, give it a little time. And if he's still on that limb, do you a fly down cackle if you're proficient with it. And, I'll do that. And a lot of times I'll have a stick with me. If I'm in a bunch of leaves where I can do it with my hand, that's one thing, but I like to stick to my gloves. I like to get a stick and I'll just like I'm on the ground, I'm already feeding, and then maybe make a soft yelp at him. If he gobbles, he knows where you're at. There ain't no need to just hammer him away.
You don't carry that Walmart bag, will you?
No, I don't carry no Walmart bags. I just let Mother Nature provide. Carry toilet paper. That don't make no sound, but that's another podcast for another day. But set up and call, and hopefully he'll come right on in that morning, and you can be back to the truck and finish up your coffee while it's still warm. That don't happen a lot, but it does happen.
Yeah.
But let's say you've heard nothing. You know where they like to hang out. You didn't hear anything the night before. You're standing on the edge of a hill. You got a big. I'm going to have to move this thing. I got this big green field in front of me. You feel like they're going to come out and feed there that morning. What do you do?
At that point, if there's nothing talking and you're in a for sure good spot, I mean, a lot of people won't do it. I don't have a problem doing it. I'm going to set up and I'm on soft call every half hour or so, and I mean, a lot of guys call it deer hunting them or whatever, but I enjoy being out in the woods. I enjoy hunting, and it doesn't matter to me what tactic I use. It's just another tactic. I mean, I'm there to turkey hunt and kill the turkey.
Yep, that's right. Any legal way, because I feel like, and we heard it this week that I don't shoot them if they come in silent. I don't shoot it. Well, how do you know they didn't come to your calling?
Right.
If you hadn't called at all and you're just sitting there, that's one thing. But if you've been calling, and especially if it's a subordinate gobbler that's had his tail whooped and he knows he's in Big Daddy's backyard, he's going to come in quiet.
Maybe a big group of jakes whooped him.
Listen, I killed one already this year that came straight in. Never made a sound, but Big Daddy was gobbling just down the hill, a couple hundred yards away. He knew he shouldn't be up there messing with those hens. He come on in though. Mm-hmm. So,
and sometimes Big Daddy's had a jake whoop him up. If you
don't want to kill that silent bird, and it's getting close to the season and nothing's been killed over there, drop me a pin.
Yeah.
I'll be glad to come over there and teach him a lesson for coming in silent. But we've went in knowing we're going to make a long sit. We'll carry our chairs. We got a little Alps blind. I know there's a bunch of purists that thinks a blind's wrong. Well, what's the difference in that blind and cutting 400 limbs and building a blind around you? I'm going to try to. Your biggest thing is concealment. Mm-hmm. These little Alps deception blinds, they're easy to carry in. I mean, I wouldn't want to carry them 40 miles, but we set up, and then especially I might want to get up and move if I heard one gobble way off, or I heard him gobble, fly down, and he's going away, and I know I can circle around. I may get out and go. Now I'm leaving all that crap there. I got my vest.
Road and
I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you feel like they're going to finally work their way in, 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, just sit tight. Enjoy the day. I mean, I've done this. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. 2 reasons. I know. I used to be, I couldn't sit 30 minutes. He'd quit gobbling. I'm up. I'm going to go. I'm going to try to raise him. I'm going to go look where he was. That's a mistake. A lot of times looking where they are, they still there.
Mm.
A turkey, And I hear it all the time. So, yeah, I'm probably saying something that's been said 100 times. Turkey's not on nobody's schedule but the turkey schedule. He's got no schedule. He's on turkey time. He's got no... He's going to do what he does.
He doesn't have a job to go clock into.
He's going to scratch and eat when he wants to. He's going to breed his hens when he wants to. Mm-hmm. He's going to leave the country and go find something else when he wants to. Mm-hmm. He's going to gobble when he wants to. So just because you heard him, you may have even heard him fly down. I've been close enough to hear him pitch down. I've seen him pitch down. Mm-hmm. And no sound. They just quit. And you sit there for 30, 45 minutes. He didn't answer a call. Don't overcall, but I don't have no problem with yelping to him trying to get him to answer you. That happened to us in Kentucky last year. We had them. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was already wanting to get the tape measure out, measure the spurs and beard. I knew we was going to kill them turkeys. There's, 2 or 3 over there gobbling. I mean, they wouldn't. They were less than 100 yards.
Oh, yeah.
But when they flew down,
I still think the coyote coming in between us kind of messed us up.
Well, I think they seen him in the field. I still think they had those hens too. Well, they went the other way. The hens went the other way, and they went the other way.
Yeah,
and that's where we sat, and we sat, and we sat, and he finally gobbled, and we knew they were way away, and they'd been crossed over the property, and we didn't have permission to hunt it, and it was time to get up and go try to find another one because that's all that was in that section of woods. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with that, but. If you can, you young guys, your butts may be in better shape than me. You can sit on that little cushion. You can sit on the ground. If I know I'm not running miles and miles and miles, I'm toting me a little chair in. Mm-hmm. There's several good ones. You know, we got the old Toms. They're a little heavy. If I was really going to tote one all day long, I don't know if I'd tote the old Tom all day. Nightingale's making that one. Mm-hmm. The short, the only thing I don't like about the Nightingale one is the back is so short. You're off the tree, so you got nothing to lean back. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just hits you right in about the center of the back. So to me, you don't get that. Just like this chair, I could lean on it and feel pretty good. The chair I'm in right now, but the other one is probably at the arm level at your back to me. And if it's chilly, it's made out of that fabric, like the Millennium chairs and stuff are made out of. They can get chilly, but anyway, that's a personal preference. You want to tote a chair, tote a chair. If you don't. If I'm running and gunning, I'm generally not going to tote a chair. I've got my cushion. I can throw it up because I'm not going to be there long. If you're running and gunning, the only time you're going to sit any time is if you're working one. So that's what I think on the midday stuff. Afternoons. How you feel about afternoon hunts?
I've killed a lot of birds in the afternoon.
I think I've killed as many in the afternoon.
Yeah.
This year I know I have.
And I've helped people kill their first birds in the afternoon. So
I mean, generally me and you will get out. We'll sit till 11, 12 o'clock. I mean, this past weekend, everybody was gone but us. Mm-hmm. We left out and went and had a pretty good little lunch because, listen, turkeys aren't deer. Turkeys don't go bed up in the middle of the day. I have seen them take a nap. Remember down in Florida? Was you there when we saw them off to the left? They all kind of just got in a little sunny spot, and they just hung out for 15, 20 minutes. And we saw one hen. She laid down and took a nap.
Yeah.
She laid there. But generally, turkeys, they're going to do their turkey stuff from the time they get off the roost. And that might be take a little nap, but they're out all day. I mean, just because you go in at 11 o'clock, you're going to go get you some lunch and go talk to the boys and tell them what you heard or didn't hear or lie. And so you didn't hear nothing. Those turkeys are still out there and they're doing their thing. So if you're serious, and like we are, especially when we hunt out of state, we're getting, if we can hunt all day, we hunt all day with the exception of maybe an hour or two. We have carried our lunch and stayed all day. 12, 13 hours worth of it, and seen turkeys all day. So, but I like to get back out about 2 o'clock. I know it's going to be hot. To me, the blind's not optimum in the heat. This past weekend proved it to me. I thought I was going to have heat stroke. I would have, if it hadn't have been windy, I believe I'd had my ghost blind, and I just sat against the tree. I could still sit in my chair, but the ghost blind in front of me, at least I got the air circulating. But will turkeys gobble? Yeah, they'll gobble. If you can get one to gobble, you can walk. You may want to walk it and look around. You may not have a place you want to go and set up and what you quote unquote deer hunt them or whatever you want to call it. If I'm making noise, I don't call it deer hunting. If I'm calling, if I'm not set up knowing I'm going to ambush one, which I will do. Yeah, purists hate me if you want to. It's legal. But that's what I'm going to do. If you get one to gobble at 4:00 in the afternoon, you got a good shot at killing that turkey. Because he's gobbling because he's by himself, generally. I have had them gobble. It had 3 or 4 hens with them, but I was very close, and I think it was a reaction gobble, like, yeah, I'm over here. Y'all, come on down here and join us. And eventually, they worked their way up the road, and I killed that one I'm thinking of right now. But that's me. And then you're there until dusky dark. We watched that one hen this past weekend feed. Gosh, she fed for a couple of hours out there, didn't she? Up and down and back and forth. She just didn't have no boyfriend. And what was it? About 7-ish, she finally started feeding toward the woods and started making her way to wherever she's going to roost.
Yeah.
Let's talk about high winds real quick. I said we was going to keep it about 30 minutes. Let's take 5 minutes and tell me what you think about high winds. I know you have we've had an experience with high winds, and I'm talking eastern. I'm not talking Rios. They're used to Oklahoma wind, Texas, Kansas, where it blows all the time, Nebraska. I'm talking about southeast, Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, maybe Tennessee.
It has been a very windy spring so far. I mean, it has been crazy this year. A lot of pop-up storms and front or wind bringing fronts in and all that type of stuff. And it seems like that's when we always get to hunt, when the wind's blowing 100. Yes. So, but I mean, we've hunted wind, and you fight the wind this time of year every year, but this year has been something special.
Some days it's windy and you can catch that calm little spot where it's quiet for a second. You make a call or hopefully hear a gobble. But particularly the other day when we were in Tennessee, that wind never
It was
stopped.
Not gusts. It was steady.
It was a steady 25 mile an hour wind. I've never seen it blow that long, that strong without a let up. I mean, it just blew and blew and blew and blew. It never stopped.
Never stopped.
And what did we see?
Nothing.
We heard nothing on that. Well, first off, we didn't hear anything that evening when you tried hooting. It was a little quieter. But that morning, nothing gobbled. I just do not believe. I think they're too busy trying to hold on to a limb to worry about gobbling. No gobbling that morning at all. And we decided, well, we're just going to set up on the field, or that road. I guess it was a road edge that morning, and where a field was across from us. And we knew the turkeys hung out there. There's lots of droppings in the field. That's a good tip. Look for droppings. We found a place where it was kind of shady, and you could tell they hung out in that shade and fed around in that clover. So, but nothing all morning.
Didn't see a deer.
We didn't see a hen turkey.
Didn't hear a Tweety bird.
And we had seen a hen the evening before.
Didn't hear no crows.
No crows, no Tweety birds, no nothing. Only thing I saw, maybe a buzzard just trying to survive.
And that was from daylight till about 11:30, 11:45.
Nothing. And we pulled out and went and grabbed us a bite to eat.
Yep. Come back.
We come back.
We saw.
Where did we go? We
went to Baghdad.
That's right. We went out there, and we thought they'd come in, feeding that field. We've seen it. We know they do it.
Which we did see,
and we saw a couple of hens,
but it was late.
It was almost getting time for them to make their way to roost, which was what they were doing. They just fed through and left, but nothing, no deer. I mean, that this piece of property, we were seeing 10, 12, 15 deer driving in and out around lunchtime. It didn't make no difference. This day, nothing, no deer. No armadillos.
We stayed in. We stayed in the woods till about 7.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we come out, and then the wind
has, by the time we got to the truck, the wind had calmed. Really, it had calmed down to nearly nothing.
Yeah, it had started late. It had laid
we
down.
We thought they're already in the woods going to roost. This was, well, it was a little bit lighter than it is right now.
I would say by that time it was.
What time is it now?
7:25, 7:30. It's 8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock.
Much.
So let's say 7:30. They should be in the woods or headed to where they're going to roost.
And we seen deer and turkey.
A deer and turkey. The turkey were just coming into the field.
It was crazy.
It was like, I'm going to get out here and get me a bite to eat until it gets dark.
When we turned out on the main highway, we seen another bird that was standing in the middle of the wide open
dark.
It was pretty much dark. I mean,
we had the headlights on.
Yeah, I have. That was a crazy experience to win. It's like the wildlife. Somebody just vacuumed them up and then right there at dark shot them back out. It was crazy.
I don't know if I've ever experienced a day like that. So super high winds in the southeast. I'm going to say, go. Now, always go. If you've got the time and because we only got that special few weeks a year. If you're working or you have to travel like we had to do, what good is it sitting in a hotel room or sitting in the truck?
I've just never seen it shut down like that.
But I can sit on the edge of a field or in the woods as good as I can call it a day.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So go. I'm not saying don't go. I'm just saying don't expect to hear anything. And our experience, especially this past week, we didn't see nothing until the wind stopped. I mean, and maybe if the wind had stopped in the middle of the day, it may have been different by the evening time.
Of course, that was our last night there.
So that's, I don't know. You got anything else?
I mean,
any tips, tricks you would try?
I mean, the best tip or trick you said is if you're going to be there, be in the woods.
Be there.
I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen. And I have heard, when it's windy, birds like to be in the open where they can see, where they can hear. And then I hear people say, oh, you got to hunt in bottoms. And I'll be honest with you, I've hunted both, and I don't know where they go when it's windy, but they go somewhere.
They go underground.
Yeah, they go underground.
Like said, they're evil.
They got a cave. They go get in a bluff or something.
Under a rock bluff. They ain't no rock bluffs where we was.
No.
Maybe they get in a sewer pipe. I don't know.
Yeah, culvert
somewhere.
Maybe they got a storm cellar that they go hang out in.
I don't know. But anyway, we want to take a little time, just go over a few things what we do and how we try to approach things. I know everybody does it a little different, especially if you're new at it. If you want to take some of this advice, go ahead. I love hearing other people. I've heard some stuff this week already. I plan on trying down the road. This is one thing about this game, and I've been doing it since late 80s, early 90s. So that tells you how long I've been doing it. And I learn something every year. You don't know it all.
Every weekend.
The more you mess up, though, the better you get.
Mm-hmm.
The only way, you're not learning anything if you just go sit down and kill one. You have not learned anything. You only learn by screwing up, bumping them.
You just got to
overcalling, setting up in the wrong place.
Go back.
Woodsmanship, everything counts. And woodsmanship to me probably counts more than even the calling. If you know, that gets you to where the bird will come to you or in front of the bird or something. So that's about all I got tonight.
Man, I hope this helps somebody. I really
do too.
Maybe we can do a few more of these.
Yeah. If anybody out there's got some advice, hop over on our Meeting Two podcast Facebook page.
Shoot us
TikTok,
a message.
Shoot us a message. Tell us what you do, how you handle it. Especially even you guys that hunt Midwest up north. It's different than here. The South is different. We know we've been out west. We're going north. So yeah, love to hear what y'all have to say about it. Well, all right. You got anything else?
No, I think I'm good, man.
Well, good deal. I just want to take that short time. We're going to run about 40 minutes. So hope y'all enjoyed tonight and take care of your trees because that's where the turkeys sleep.